everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Game Changers. I'm your host and founder, Jalen Tart, and along with me are my guys, Joe, Chaz, and Xavier. So, fellas, we are 1 week away. We are 6 days away from the NFL kicking off on Thursday with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to kick off the season. But beforehand, we're going to break down the other conference in the NFL, the NFC conference. So, fellas, we're going to start it off with the NFL predictions with the NFC East. I'll go first. Going down from 1 to 4, I got the Washington football team winning the division. I don't have any record. I don't have a record yet for all 4 of these teams because I really don't know what is going to happen with this NFC East. But I have the Washington football team winning the division. They got an elite defense led by Chase Young, the wide receiver core led by Curtis Samuel and Adam Humphries. I'm very iffy on Ryan Fitzpatrick being consistent in the season with the Washington football team, but I do trust Ron Rivera to make adjustments mid-season. And they will make the playoffs.
Okay.
From 2 to 4 down, I have the New York Giants second place.
Okay.
Giants second place because I think Daniel Jones will be coached out of the turnover problem by Joe Brady. The O-line needs to be fixed. I think Joe Brady will fix that too. But Kenny Golladay and Sterling Shepard. I watched film on Sterling Shepard today. I think he's going to reach another level. Darius Slayton will be great. Defense will improve from last year. You have Dexter Lawrence, Adoree Jackson, Leonard Williams, and James Bradbury. This will be Daniel Jones' biggest year with the Giants. This is a make it or break it year with Daniel Jones. Number 3, Dallas, the most talented offense in the division, led by Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. This is the biggest concern for me. I think Michael Parsons will help them, but it won't help them that much. That from 2 to 3 between the Giants and the Cowboys will get into the wild card spot for the playoffs. Philadelphia Eagles, I have nothing to say. I think Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith will carry the team, and I do not trust Nick Sirianni. And that is my NFC East lineup.
All right, I'm gonna go next.
Go ahead.
So my division, Chaz, your division.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to say your team will win the division, Chaz. I do have y'all first. I do have the New York Giants second as well. I believe that Daniel Jones will be just fine, but the O-line will have to hold up, I believe, in my O-line. I believe we can do that. And defense is already straight. Third, Dallas. Like Jalen stated, they're the best offense in the whole division. But I just don't trust the defense. I don't trust Mike McCarthy. I just don't. And
I don't either.
And Quinn, I mean, he's probably an upgrade as defensive coordinator, but he still sucks. So Dallas is third and Philadelphia fourth. You can't really say anything about them. But Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith on the defensive side, Brandon Graham, and Anthony Harris and all them. But yeah, they're not going to do anything. So that's my prediction for the NFC East.
Yeah, I got to agree with both of y'all. I'm really excited as a Washington fan personally. That front seven already proved themselves. A lot of young talent in the skill positions. The biggest thing, which could really make or break it, is Fitzpatrick. You know, I've told y'all before too. I mean, y'all have seen it watching football over the years. He'll be great, like historically great for like 4 games, and then get a contract, play like trash, then play really, really good again. And then it's a cycle, you know? And if we can get more good than bad out of him, then I don't see why we wouldn't win the division. As far as the Giants and the Cowboys, I could see it going 2 and 3 with the Giants getting second in the division. I don't think it'll have any big implications either way, you know, if one is 2 or 3. So I could see the Giants being second. I think it really does depend on Daniel Jones and if they can show that they have the talent, because they haven't shown it yet. You know, Dallas hasn't either, but we can objectively look at them every year and say there's pieces there that are Super Bowl worthy, and they never make it. So I don't trust them either. But I think Philly's a safe bet at 4. There's not much there, and it's another topic. But I think Gardner Minshew could win the quarterback job eventually because of how dysfunctional the franchise is right now, and he might just be better than Jalen Hurts. But I see that shaking up pretty much the same way y'all do.
Okay.
I say my top four. My four. Okay, so I think I got to agree with this. Washington first. I trust the defense. Ryan Fitzpatrick will be great the first 4 games, but he might be up and down. He might be inconsistent. We don't know. So that all eyes are going to be on him. This is in this division. I feel like it's going to be all eyes on all these quarterbacks because the record there was just a crappy season last year. It was the NFC least, and we're just going to go on from there. Second, I got New York. You improved last year because after Colombo got fired, right? The offensive line, especially. The defense is there, and they're going to make something shake. All eyes are going to be on Daniel Jones, like I said, like everybody else said as well. So I think so. But then Daniel Jones is going to have the wide receiver core. He's going to have a tight end core. He's going to have everybody from there. Number 3, Dallas. Dak Prescott. People are wondering how he's going to play this year after coming back from injury. I don't trust the defense at all. I don't trust Mike McCarthy as a coach, like y'all said as well. So it's kind of like Dallas is going to be Dallas. You have a great offense. You have an amazing offense with a talented offensive line, but you're not going anywhere with that defense no time soon. And then Philly is just going to be Philly. Your defense trash. Quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, but it's just confusing and so dysfunctional in that organization and just so toxic up in Philly. So that's my 4.
See, I was very hesitant. What I was really going to do, I was going to put Dallas second at first. But then I was like, if I put them second and they don't meet my expectations, then that throws everything off. So that's why I had to put Dallas third. Because in case they do get second, I think they are a playoff team. Both the Giants and the Cowboys are a playoff team. But I think the Giants are more balanced. And I think they can fix the Daniel Jones problem early. So that's the only reason why I put the Giants second. We're going to go to the NFC South. So for me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I got going 14-3. They're not going 17-0. They're going to lose some games in the early part, the middle, and at the end. They re-signed everybody. I think Todd Bowles is going to land a head coaching job at the end of this season, and they're going to rest their starters leading up into the playoffs, and they're going to play playoff football like how they did last year. The New Orleans Saints at second. I got them going 9-8. The new offense is led by Jameis Winston, who I feel very confident in that position. I think Sean Payton will coach him out of the turnover problem, like how Daniel Jones is being coached out with Joe Brady. I think the offense is going to take a little bit of a setback with Michael Thomas being out for 6 games, but they will come back in full play when he comes back. The Carolina Panthers at number 3. This will be the most competitive Carolina Panthers team I have seen since Cam Newton went to the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold will upgrade the offense with Shi Smith. I think he's in a better situation with Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule will challenge him and he will coach him. The only suspect I have is the defense. I think they are rebuilding the defense, but I feel like it will get better as years to come. The question mark is J.C. Horn. How big of an impact is J.C. Horn on the defensive end of the ball? And the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan will have a solid year in the second half of the season because, mind you, he has another head coach / coordinator in Arthur Smith. He doesn't do very well in new systems, but he strives well at the second half of the season. I think Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts will have solid years. And I'm just have question marks on Arthur Smith. And that's my NFC South standing.
Jalen, I
ahead.
agree with you on that. I agree with you on your 4. But here's the question mark. You hit me with this one, and I showed the expression on why. Tampa Bay is going to go 14-3. I agree with that. But if you rest their starters, wouldn't that be an effect? Wouldn't that be a negative effect on a team to making the playoffs and trying to go far to the Super Bowl?
I'll say they'll take the approach like how the Pittsburgh Steelers did last season. I think they'll start Kyle Trask at the quarterback to get him some reps to see, is he a solid backup behind Tom Brady? You got to rest your players, because if you don't rest your players at the end of the season and they get hurt, that's going to help. It's going to cause an effect for them to perform well in the playoffs. And that's why I said that. I got the Panthers going 8-9. I got the Falcons going 7-10.
Okay, but back to my 4. Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. You ain't gonna start that offense. You ain't gonna start that defense either. So like there's no question, if, ands, or buts about that Buccaneers team. 2, the Saints. Jameis Winston is the question mark. In a sense, he's gonna do good, but I just don't want him to have another 30-30 season. I don't want him to throw a lot of interceptions like he did with Tampa Bay. He's not a bad quarterback. He just had to be consistent. He can throw the ball far. He can get a lot of yards. He can get a lot of touchdowns. But he just have to lessen the interception rate, touchdown to interception ratio. Carolina, you not far from being where you need to be from the playoffs. You're this close from like you don't. It's not even a rebuilding phase. It's not even a rebuilding phase per se. Like you got what you need. You just need to get a little bit more players on the defensive side of the ball. Then you're gonna make something happen. Atlanta, I don't really have so much to say about Atlanta. Atlanta, Matt Ryan, y'all know how I feel about Matt Ryan. Respectfully, he just need to retire.
Get Cam.
Thank you. Cam to ATL, man. Cam to ATL.
I've been saying it off camera. I've been saying Cam needs to either go to Houston or Atlanta.
He needs to go to a crappy. He need to go to a crappy football team.
Y'all think Cam Newton's better than Matt Ryan?
No. I don't think he is, but I think he's a good backup underneath him.
Well, yeah, backup, but like, he's kind of like one of those QBs where it's like if he's not a star, where like
Matt Ryan can throw the ball down the field consistently than Cam Newton.
Oh,
that's the only reason.
But Cam can
get it. Matt Ryan actually plays. Cam Newton hasn't really played, so yeah, Matt Ryan over Cam Newton right now.
Right.
Cam can get down the field, especially, and he got strength and size to maneuver as a mobile quarterback as well.
Go ahead, Chaz.
Yeah. All right. So, I honestly have the same list as y'all do. I think the Bucs are a pretty surefire pick. You know, if they stay healthy, they brought the whole team back. I think New Orleans.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I think that New Orleans is going to be really, really good. I think the Drew Brees, Jameis Winston transition is going to go as smoothly as it possibly could. They've been loaded for years. I mean, he's coming into a position with a way better team than he had in Tampa before they were what they are now. You have Kamara, Michael Thomas is going to come back. They have a solid defense. So I think I think they'll have a great year, and I think he's going to improve. He was balling in preseason. If y'all saw, he was lining it up. Carolina, I think Sam Darnold's a really good quarterback. I think being in the Jets system with Adam Gase was horrible for any quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a pretty solid division, so I don't see them making the playoffs yet. But they're not far from it, like y'all said. And Atlanta, I just think, in my opinion, Atlanta's never going to get over the hump until they clean house, because that Super Bowl loss literally has traumatized that franchise.
Cleaning house and changing the roster and the coaching staff, so changing everything.
I mean, as much as you can. I mean, obviously not everything is the reason it didn't work, but I don't think they're going to be good. until maybe Matt Ryan retires. And that's nothing against him. It's just the franchise. It's kind of like what happened with Cam Newton in Carolina. You know, you got one shot at the Super Bowl, and after that, it kind of went downhill, and I don't think they were ever going to get over it. I don't think they were mentally made to overcome that. So I think they'll be at the bottom or maybe third. I could see it, but I don't see anything else out of Atlanta until something really, really changes.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
I got the same list. I got no question marks with Tampa Bay. The only question mark for New Orleans is Jameis Winston. The question mark for Carolina is some of the defense and how Sam Darnold will perform because it is a new team and a new system, but I believe he'll be okay. And Atlanta, like Chad said, they will not get over the hump until Matt Ryan or until they absolutely just rebuild. So that's who I got. I agree with all of you three. So yeah, Tampa Bay first, New Orleans second, Carolina third, Atlanta fourth.
All right.
Two
So
for
we're
two.
going on to
2 for 2.
All right, we're gonna go on to the NFC North. I have Green Bay first, Chicago second, Minnesota 3, and Detroit fourth. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers last dance, no problems at all. Have potential to reach the NFC title game, and I am suspect of the O-line. That is all I have. The Chicago Bears, I think everyone is counting out the Chicago Bears. I think Matt Sirianni will be on the hot seat if the team does not get to a hot start at the beginning of the season. If they go 3-2, he will keep his job. If they go 2-3, he will be fired. Plain and simple. Justin Fields is the franchise quarterback for the Bears. Everybody in the whole world knows that. I think Allen Robinson, Khalil Mack are the leaders for the offense and the defense, and I see them as a wild card team. The Vikings will struggle for the first half of the season and will be a very competitive team in the second half. Kirk Cousins will play a solid year, and Justin Jefferson will have a breakout year for the Vikings. If Kirk Cousins declines, that means Justin Jefferson wants to leave. Plain and simple. Detroit, just don't trust Dan Campbell at all. After he said you want to just go after kneecaps and bite people in the face, no. But here's the good thing. Jared Goff will carry the team. I have a huge. As much as I've said, I got them going 2-15, but I think Jared Goff will be the only positive thing going for Detroit, and that is my list. Go ahead, Joe. I see you make that face. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I have Green Bay first, but I will have to switch your 2 and your 3. I have Minnesota second because I believe Kirk Cousins more than Justin Fields. And then maybe the Bears defense is slightly better than Minnesota, but I still have Minnesota second, Chicago third, and Detroit fourth. Now, Jared Goff, I mean, yeah,
that's all they got. That's all they got.
But they also have a decent running game with Swift, and they have a good cornerback, Jeff Okudah. So, I mean, there's like three guys on that team you can depend on. But other than that, I have Green Bay first, Minnesota second, Chicago third, and Detroit fourth.
I don't trust Minnesota down the stretch. That's the only reason why I put them third. I don't trust them down the stretch. Because Kirk Cousins in prime time, he's not shown up. It's been proven. So that's the only reason why I got them third.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You sure? All right.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Joe. I think Green Bay is a pretty solid lock. You know, I don't think Aaron Rodgers would want to leave Green Bay on a bad note. I think if anyone can just, ignore how much he hates a franchise and just go play, it would be him. I think he could just deal with it because I think he knows that if he plays bad, then it's not going to help him. And then I have Minnesota second as well. I know that Kirk Cousins hasn't performed in prime time. I know he hasn't, but statistically, he's been one of the most consistent players stat-wise for the past five years. And Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, I think they're a very, very talented offense. And yeah, I just think he gets a really bad rep. But at the end of the day, yeah, he could go 0 for however many Monday night games he has, and they could still win 10, 11 games. Chicago, I don't think that right now Justin Fields could take a team to a playoff spot, or Andy Dalton, whoever does end up getting the minutes. I just don't think it's ready. I don't think the team is ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then Detroit, I mean, it's just Detroit, you know. I mean, that's Jared Goff could honestly stay there for like 5 years just because he'll be like in the shadows of like literally everyone in the league, and
Right.
he could have a successful career. I mean, Matt Stafford played for however long, 9 years there?
Yeah.
Played there for a long time.
Well, 12. This is his 13th. This is his 13th year in the league. So
yeah, that's crazy. See, like he's been in the league a long time, and yeah, we can all say he's a good quarterback, but imagine the narrative if he would have got drafted by someone like Andy Reid, you know, and was a backup for a year and got to play the same way that Mahomes did. I'm not saying they're the same player, but it's not as far of a comparison off as y'all might think. But yeah, anyways, same list as you, Joe. I think that Green Bay's a lock and Detroit's a lock to be trash. And then the other two, I mean, I get both y'all's points.
word.
Ooh, let's see. Okay, so I'm on my laptop right now. I'm not comparing depth charts and see what they got. So Green Bay first. Reason being Aaron Rodgers, possibly him and Devontae Adams last dance in Green Bay. They kind of like faking it till they make it. They having that type of attitude this season. They just doing what they do, getting the job done, whatever you may see fit. The offense is going to carry. Jair Alexander's going to lock up, arguably a top five corner, and he's just going to they're just going to do what they do in Green Bay. Number two, as much as I'm trying to compare this and I'm trying to break this down, I gotta say Minnesota. I gotta say Minnesota. Reason being is because if we compare Chicago and Minnesota, Chicago wins in defense, but Minnesota wins in offense because I don't trust Andy Dalton and I don't trust Justin Fields in a rookie season yet. Maybe in Fields' third year I can trust him, but right now I don't trust him in his first year in the NFL. But it is going to be a dogfight on that second spot between Minnesota and Chicago. Number three, Chicago. Defense going to carry Khalil Mack, Danny Trevathan, Akeem Hicks on that defense, Allen Robinson, Komet, Jimmy Graham, Marquise Goodwin, all them boys. They're going to do what they do in Chicago, but it's just the quarterback situation that's kind of like throwing people off in Chirac. And number four, we all know Detroit. Jared Goff, honestly, is a good place for him because he was kind of hitting a downfall in LA. And I feel like he needs to get that reset. He needs to have that reset button and being on a sorry Detroit team. And I know HaHa Davis, and T Grizzly are kind of like shaking their heads on we got another losing season coming in Detroit. But yeah, that's my four.
I meant to say Matt Nagy instead of Matt Sirianni.
Mm-hmm.
I messed that up. All right, so the last division, I know everyone is going to have a different list because this is the hardest region of the NFC to predict. The NFC West. I have the Rams winning the division. I have Seattle second, San Francisco third, and Arizona fourth. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Rams. My only question mark is Matt Stafford in the playoffs because we have not seen that when he was in Detroit. I think him going to the Rams was great. Sean McVay loves it. I think they they did a smart move of getting Sonny Michel in the preseason, and then you have a loaded wide receiver core and Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Deshaun Jackson who was coming there. elite defense with Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, John Johnson, and Michael Brockers. McVay will
They
make
don't have John Johnson no more. They don't have John.
Where he went?
He's with the Cleveland Browns, and so is Troy Hill. But continue.
Don't do me like that, Joe. Don't do me like that, Joe. But anyway,
Here we
I
go.
think
Here we
they
go.
will win the division. This is tough. I have them going 12-5. Seattle, I have them going 11-6. That game between the Rams and the Seahawks will determine who will win the division. That's why it's so hard. It's
Joe
so
was
hard.
ready to grill you, Jalen.
Seattle, Russell Wilson will have a great year, but will he be protected by the O-line? The O-line is a question mark for me. DK Metcalf, I think he'll have a solid year. I wouldn't say he have a breakout year, but he have a solid year. And my question is Pete Carroll having so much power in the postseason. You know, we thought they was going to go far last year, but they got exited out of the wild card. But it is what it is. And mind you, this is an interesting fact. They haven't been to the NFC title game since 2014, when the year that they won the Super Bowl. So if they lose the early, will Pete Carroll be on the hot seat? That's the only question mark for them. San Francisco. This was very hard. The San Francisco 49ers is one of the hardest teams for me to predict. I have them as a dark horse because they can go either way. They can either make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. I'm iffy on Jimmy Garoppolo being consistent 17 games. They're going to get – because I say that because it's proven he's not healthy. He doesn't be healthy. He's not healthy throughout the whole season. So with that being said, they'll give Trey Lance some time to get some reps, and hopefully they'll do good. The Arizona, they'll be the most complete 8-9 team in the NFC. The most complete. Adding J.J. Watt, A.J. Green, who is injury prone. I think Kyler Murray will have a solid year as the season progresses. And that is my 4. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Joe is ready to grill you.
Go ahead, Joe.
He about to grill you.
Calm down. I'll calm down.
Go ahead.
Here's my list. First, I have the San Francisco 49ers. They're arguably the best team. Listen, they're arguably the best team in that division when healthy, all around. Rams, second. I do agree. Matthew Stafford going to kill it in Los Angeles, but Los Angeles lost a couple of pieces on that defense, Troy Hill and John Johnson. Mm-hmm. So Troy Hill was probably the best slot cornerback in the league last year. And John Johnson, he's one of the best safeties that we have, top 10 in my opinion. Third, I have Seattle because, the defense is iffy. KJ Wright left. They signed Jamal Adams to a big contract, but how does that improve your defense? It really doesn't like that. And they still have Bobby Wagner. So they'll be all right. And KJ Wright signed with the Las Vegas Raiders today.
They should have here's what they messed. I hate to interrupt you.
No, you
should have signed the guard first instead of signing Jamal Adams. Because that locks the protection for Russell Wilson. Because Russell Wilson scrambles out of the pocket a lot, but he does not get hit. So go ahead, Joe. Go ahead. Finish it off, Joe.
Yeah, and I agree because Russell Wilson does get sacked a lot because he scrambles a lot. Mm-hmm. And for Arizona, you added J.J. Watt and all of that good stuff. Add A.J. Green to the wide receiving core, but I just don't have them better than any of the 3 teams I listed in that division. So 49ers first, Rams second, Seattle third, Arizona fourth.
Interesting. Go ahead, Xavier.
Ooh, Lord, let the Lord be with me. But anyway, I'm gonna go from the bottom up.
Okay.
4, I got Seattle, respectfully. Reason being is because actually, come back to me on this one because I gotta.
Go ahead.
Think about this one.
This one's getting a little heated.
It is.
Yeah, no, this is the best division in football. So I think it really like everything y'all have said I could see, but in my opinion, I see the Rams winning the division. I think that for the most part, yeah, they've lost a couple pieces. But if you flip Jared Goff and Matt Stafford, that is a huge upgrade on an incredibly talented and well-coached team. I think that it's not make or break. Stafford's obviously going to get at least a year or two to play. You know, they're not going to give him the boot, but it's a big, big statement that he can make this year, and I think he will. They should be a Super Bowl contender. They shouldn't just be looked at to win the division. Second, I have San Francisco. Like you said, Joe, when healthy, they are one of the best teams in the league, not even just the division. And Jimmy Garoppolo is what, like 24-8 as a starter.
Yeah.
And so if you go with Jimmy G, you have someone when healthy wins, and if not, you have an incredibly talented young quarterback. So I could see them getting second place either way. I think that it's one of the best spots a rookie could be in. So it's going to help him ease his way into the league. Third, I have Seattle. They could really be a wild card team. You could get 3 teams coming out of this division, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's not a knock on Seattle. I just think Russell Wilson's time there might be limited. I think that there's a little bit going on that we don't see. They're trying to act like it's happy over there. I don't know. And then Arizona, yeah, they're going to be a really, really good 8 or 9 win team. No doubt about it. They could win or get second place in a lot of divisions. They really could. So it's no knock on them. But when you have to play Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers 6-year games, you know, I don't see them coming out. So I could see them 8 or 9 wins. And it's not a bad year. Just need more time for everything to mesh over there.
So Chaz, who do you have again?
I have the Rams winning.
Yeah,
it goes the Rams, 49ers, Seattle, then Arizona.
Okay.
Okay.
That's hard. Those 3, either 3 of those teams could get first.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not so hard, but from a depth chart standpoint and looking from last year, the Rams have the most momentum. They made it farther in the playoffs for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You add in Matt Stafford, who, Chaz, I agree, that will improve their offense.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, the only question mark, like I said, Joe and Chaz and Xavier, is Jimmy G. Can Jimmy G be consistent throughout the regular season? I feel as if he really can. But if he doesn't, then you got to put in a 22-year-old Trey Lance who has only played 1 game in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big ask for an organization, for a head coach, for Trey Lance. Say, hey, Trey Lance, can you start us? Can you give us a chance to win?
Yeah.
So I'm iffy on that. Very iffy.
Yeah.
I have the Rams going 12-5. I have Seattle going 11-6. I have the San Francisco 49ers going 9-8, and I have the Cardinals going 8-9.
Okay, so now I got my list. All right, so
Go ahead.
First I got LA. Matt Stafford, you got a veteran quarterback. Your defense is going to be there per se, but it's not as talented as San Fran. But San Fran will be my second. Question is, can Jimmy G stay consistent? But the second question to add to that, can Jimmy G stay healthy? And if he can stay healthy, then without a quarterback for San Francisco, we've seen it all before. Without Jimmy G, they tank. San Francisco will be tanking.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is there. Only thing I'm scared of for the defense is that secondary. Because I looked on the depth chart and these are names I've never heard before, honestly. But the defensive line and linebackers, you got arguably the best linebacker in the league right now, Fred Warner. Defensive line, you got Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw represents South Carolina, and Armstead. Number 3, I got this is hard, but if I wanted to say, I got Arizona. I trust Kyler Murray. I trust him. AJ Green, being on a winning team, on a team that's actually not as top, that doesn't be having consecutive crappy seasons like Cincinnati, this is going to be different for him. The defense is going to be there as well. The running game is going to be slightly less less aggressive because you got rid of David Johnson. Yeah, so in Seattle, respectfully. But Russell Wilson, I trust Russell Wilson. I trust the offense all around him, but it's just the defense I don't trust because Bobby Wagner is out question. He's having a questionable injury. KJ Wright is out, but you signed Jamal Adams, but one person on your defense is not going to complete your whole defense. But like Jalen said, your whole defense, that whole division, anybody can have first place.
Agreed. So, fellas, we have gotten through all 2 conferences. Next week, we're going to have our Super Bowl prediction, our playoff depth chart, whatever you're going to call it, the playoff depth chart, and the Super Bowl prediction. So, moving on to the next topic. College football starts back this weekend. First game tonight, Ohio State taking on Minnesota. All know that I think Ohio State will have the most complete balanced team out of all top 4 rankings. Alabama is very interesting. They lost all of the receivers in the last couple of years. Bryce Young, who I think will excel very well, but they do have a good defense. I'm just very iffy on the offense. I had to see the offense in the first game to see, but I know most of their receivers are gone. Clemson will be the team. They will be the team to watch. I think them taking on Georgia will be a game that will tell Clemson's season. And Oklahoma, I think Spencer Rattler will win the Heisman Trophy this year. So, fellas, with all that being said, what is the biggest headline going into week 1 of college football? Chaz, I'll start it off with you.
I think you know what I'm going to say, man.
I already know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
It's Clemson, Georgia, man. Come on. I even got my nice little
not the purple and orange. Not the purple and orange. Come on.
Come on, I had to. I think that is the biggest, season opener that we've had in a long, long time for anyone. And being the third, we're third, and then Georgia's 5th, right? Are they 5th in the final rankings for before the season? Pretty sure they're 5th.
I can check.
I think they are. But yeah, no. Either way, 2 top 5 teams in the nation. I think it's going to be a huge, huge wake up call for America. Anyone who's doubting DJ Uyunglele, I think he's the real deal. I think he's the perfect next step after Trevor Lawrence.
You're right. 3 and 5.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's the real deal. Watching him against Notre Dame, watching him against Boston College, he played like 5 games like in garbage time and almost threw for 1,000 yards and zero interceptions, and he had a rushing touchdown too. He's legit. I think that's going to be a huge matchup, and I think that if Georgia loses, I don't see him in the playoffs because of who they have to play after us. But if Clemson can get by Georgia, that is a huge, huge sign of how the season is going to go from that point on, and it'll be a huge factor in the playoffs. If we go undefeated, or even if we took a loss later on in the year. But that game is just gonna be huge. I'm gonna be there. Maybe you'll see me on College Game Day. I'll be in the background, screaming and yelling. So maybe y'all will see me. But a little biased, but I think that's game of the year as far as it is right now.
Go ahead, Joe.
I agree with Chaz 100%. I mean, like he said, this is a game that is big for Clemson. But yeah, I can see like maybe Georgia could make the playoffs if they lose this game, but I'm just saying.
I think they could.
They could. They honestly.
I agree.
But
I agree.
I just think that Clemson, this is going to be a huge test for Clemson, but I believe in the quarterback, DJ. And I can trust the defense. I trust the coaching staff. So yeah, the headlines for week 1 is Georgia versus Clemson.
So for me, it's not about the team. It's about the day, Saturday, September 4th. The biggest opening of college football ever for me. You got Penn State going up against Wisconsin. You got Alabama going up against Miami, Indiana going up against Iowa, Louisiana going up against Texas, and Georgia going up against Clemson. So, fellas, Alabama is going to be the big question mark this year because we don't know what their ceiling is with them getting all of this talent to go to the NFL. But the question is going to be on Bryce Young. But the other storyline is Oklahoma. What is the ceiling for Oklahoma? We know that Oklahoma is a college football playoff contender team. Can Spencer Rattler do the unthinkable and lead this team to the playoff like Baker Mayfield did? I mean, they're known for putting quarterbacks in the NFL, but like, is Spencer Rattler the real deal? Will the Giants, I'm not picking on you, Joe, will the Giants tank for Spencer Rattler if Daniel Jones does bad? We don't know if Daniel Jones will do bad. I don't think he will do bad. But honestly, it's going to be a fun season to watch. As a South Carolina Gamecock fan, locally, the biggest headline is the grad transfer being starting quarterback. I don't understand what Shane Beamer is doing. I just don't understand that. Like, what is it? Zeb Nolan? That's his name, right?
Zeb Nolan. Zeb Nolan.
I don't know. Because if they lose to Eastern Illinois this weekend, I'm just not going to watch football for the rest of the year. Like, I'm just not. Because how? Like, I just don't understand. I think the Kerryon Joyner will have a breakout year.
Thank you.
I think the Kerryon Joyner will have a breakout year. Now that he's studying a wide receiver playbook, he will finally have a solid year. I hate it has to come to the end of his college career, but he will have a breakout year this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so as a South Carolina student and as a South Carolina fan, that's arguably the game of the year, Clemson and Georgia. Here's the thing, though. Darian Kendrick, he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder after playing for Clemson. Now he's at Georgia. Reed Gilbert, that man is also another transfer from Louisiana State University, also known as LSU. He's going to do what it do in Clemson. That game is going to be a whole shootout because DJ Uiagalelei, JT Daniels, Justin Ross coming back for Clemson. Lord have mercy. That wide receiver core for Georgia, man, that's going to be crazy. I got my prediction on that game. I got 47-44 Clemson.
Okay.
South Carolina. I'm gonna talk about my team. I'm gonna talk about my college team. Zeb Nolan. I don't know what he's gonna be on. I'm a little afraid, but I'm just gonna let it ride. Word on the street, the Kerryon Joyner probably gonna play both wide receiver and quarterback. He probably gonna run some wildcat. That's just what I heard. I don't know if that's true, but he might run some wildcat for the Gamecocks, and that's going to be something. But he is going to have a breakout year because this is his fifth and this is his last year, and he's going to like go crazy. And I heard
Harris will lead the SEC in rushing once again.
Oh yeah, he's definitely
lead the SEC in rushing again.
Yeah.
Quick pitch, fellas. So earlier this week, Ben Simmons put out a tweet saying he does not want no part of the Philadelphia 76ers. As y'all may know, y'all been getting on me all year about this. I am a Ben Simmons supporter. Even though I know he does not have a jump shot, I am a Ben Simmons supporter.
Where the hat
So which team will most likely land Ben Simmons if traded? Now, mind you, there are teams that have put out earlier today saying that they don't want to talk trade talk. The Warriors and the Kings. So be mindful. Go ahead. Anybody can take it.
I say Golden State because I feel like that's the perfect place to.
I just said they didn't want him.
They didn't want it. Oh, my fault. I apologize.
It's okay, but go ahead.
The Warriors and Kings don't want him. So then I'll see him in LA with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. Because I feel like that's gonna be a defensive team, honestly. if you got PG, Kawhi, and Ben Simmons on your team, that can all three of them can play some defense. That's actually gonna have some effect in the Western Conference.
Hold on, Joe. Come on. I want to hear this, Joe. Come on.
No, I'm just thinking because I just don't really see. No.
So at first I said the Clippers, but if he did go to the Clippers, they would have to trade somebody for them to go to Philly. That would be Reggie Jackson because he was valuable to them. The only place that I would see him work with is Charlotte. Charlotte is weird, but I see Charlotte working. I think with LaMelo and Ben Simmons' defense, that will put them in a playoff contention right there alone.
And Charlotte needs somebody big per se.
And that is the biggest person that you can get. LaMelo can lock down the shooting, and Ben Simmons can do the defense and distributing. They both can pass the ball very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely see Charlotte as a possible spot if Charlotte does make the move to do that. Go ahead, Chaz.
Actually, go ahead.
Hold on, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I got him.
Go.
Do some of y'all see? I see him. I think New Orleans can be a perfect fit for Ben Simmons as well. I just believe if he, Zion, Brandon Ingram, and those boys do it up in New Orleans, like he been to college, he went to college at LSU. So if he can just go back to that, well, prayers for New Orleans, of course.
Okay, but
if he could go back there and do it with Zion Williamson, that would be good.
But would you get rid of Brandon Ingram to go to Philly? But if he does go to Philly, that will make their team better because he's a two-way scorer.
They can trade picks and they could trade like some picks maybe,
but they're gonna want to start playing in return.
Yeah,
Philly gonna want to start playing in return.
You know, that's true. That is true. But I can see him in New Orleans, though.
I can see New Orleans too. I can see that.
I can see him in the Nola.
Yeah, I think it's just tough though because I don't think he's the kind of player right now that if you get him in exchange for another player on your team who is a valuable asset, I don't think he really makes any team that much better to where they're a finals contender. Like all the teams y'all named are good spots for him, but like I could see it. But if I think of it from like a GM point of view, like if I really wanted to win a chip, I like if I was Charlotte or like if I was New Orleans or like, you know, I just don't think I could convince myself. Like if Philly got Brandon Ingram for Ben Simmons, I would do that right away. Do you know what I mean? If New Orleans came to me with that trade, I'd be like, oh, for sure, I'd do it. But that's because I want to get rid of Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? So I see all the spots. Like I do like LA. Like if he was a Clipper, he'd be what, third or fourth option. That's the thing. So in that case, I think but then I wouldn't want to get rid of Reggie Jackson. So it just comes down to I just don't want Ben Simmons.
Right.
So
here's another one. You could do Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto could work because Pascal Siakam is not happy with the front office. He wants out. But
yeah, because he's a one-man show.
Right. So no teams don't want him. So if he goes to Philly with Joel Embiid, you have a solid 4 with Siakam and a solid 2 with Tobias.
Mm-hmm.
You could trade off Tobias and you could trade off Siakam, so that could possibly work. But then you have you got to trade picks. So I don't know.
Do you see him in? Do y'all see him in Orlando?
You know who pick, though.
That's a small market.
Yeah,
because you already have Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony, and then you have what's the name?
Aaron Gordon.
Gordon's in Denver.
He's in Denver. My fault.
He's about to lock up a max deal with Denver in the coming days.
And I think Ben Simmons will still want to play for a winning team. So Yeah, he don't want to go to
He would.
Orlando.
He would.
You're right,
I would
you're
not mind him going to Toronto and taking them back to a championship like how Kawhi did. I would not mind that. But again, he has to develop a jump shot. I think it's there, but like I keep saying, he's afraid to shoot the ball. He's afraid to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Every year we get the shooting montage.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we get to shoot.
Here y'all go.
We get,
Yeah,
3-on-1.
Every year you see it, and then he just doesn't
Doesn't
do it.
do it, and he
He
doesn't.
should've been- he
He's
should've
afraid.
been-
I think he's afraid.
guilty until proven innocent, man.
So, fellas, final thoughts heading into. Well, we'll do the final thoughts next week into the NFL. So, I think that's it. I think that's it for right now. Everybody go check us out on Instagram, Game Not Changes 2019. Check us out on YouTube at Game Changers. And we'll see y'all next week with the Super Bowl predictions and playoff rundown. We'll see y'all later, y'all. Peace out, y'all.
Peace, y'all.